My late father-in-law always struggled with reading, but instead of building his skills by giving him books he could read, his school teachers would just humiliate and cane him whenever he got something wrong. The result? He stopped going to school. Many years later, his girlfriend, who later became his wife, helped him to learn to read, but they didn't start out with books. First, he learnt to read his name. Then, he learnt to read her name. Before long, they were reading the newspaper together. Little columns, word by word, bit by bit. And over time, his skills grew. In fact, one of his favourite things to do before he passed away was watching movies with subtitles. He'd meticulously pause the movie and read every single line. It would take him hours, sometimes days, to watch a whole movie, but that slow, patient practice unlocked a whole new world of joy for him. Why am I telling you this? Well, when our dogs do things that we find annoying, like pulling on lead, we can inadvertently end up acting like the school teacher, punishing mistakes. But just like those misread words, pulling on lead is not the actual problem. The actual problem is that there is a mismatch between the difficulty of the situation and the individual's skills. That mismatch starts this downward spiral. The dog doesn't have the skills to cope, so they misbehave. The person thinks the behaviour is the issue, so they try out a whole range of ways to stop the behaviour. But that mentality of stopping or correcting behaviour focuses our efforts on the wrong thing. We end up focusing on the symptom, not the cause. But if we match the challenge of the environment to our dog's actual skill level, then we instantly change the picture. Suddenly, that child is reading because we've given them a challenge that they actually have a decent chance of succeeding with. So, how do we apply this idea with our dogs? We first need to think about the places where we want to walk our dogs, like the park, the beach, the local markets, and places where we could walk our dogs, like in our house, in our garden, on the driveway, a boring car park. Then we rank the difficulty of all of those places. Don't overthink this. It should take you like 2 minutes. Your dog's behaviour will tell you how difficult they find each of those places. Where does loose lead walking look good? Where does it look bad? And what environments are in between? Done. Now, just like the reading, it's time to build skills by practicing success. Start in easy places and get some good practice in. Don't worry about going for a walk, just focus on making the picture look good. Practice the behaviours you want to see. And you can still do the same number of steps in the environment your dog is succeeding with. Your dog is still getting enrichment by learning and practicing new skills. And really, the purpose of a walk is to provide physical exercise and mental enrichment. And that is exactly what we're doing here. As your dog's skills grow, you can increase the challenge of the environment a little. Just do your best to keep matching the challenge to their skill level. Remember, a child doesn't go from reading The Cat in a Hat to War and Peace. Find those levels in between. And the great thing about this method is that it doesn't feel overwhelming for either of you. When they do make little mistakes, and they will, it's not a drama. Just like a child learning to read, we stop them and remind them what to do. Same with our dogs. We don't need to punish mistakes. We just need to make sure that the behaviour of pulling doesn't get reinforced. So when the lead does go tight, we stop and encourage our dog to come closer before then continuing on again. Stopping when the dog pulls works really well, but only if we match the challenge of the environment to our dog's skill level. If we find ourselves stopping all the time, then that's a big red flag that there is a mismatch. But if we've done a good job at matching, then we'll have lots of opportunities to reinforce the behaviours we want to see, and so the stops will be rare. If you've got some value from this video, do me a favour and hit the like button so it can spread to more people. And if you want even more tips on how to create that picture you want, then check out this video next.